Capital Views is sponsored by North Rim Bank, Alaska Oil and Gas Association, ConocoPhillips, and Linden.
Hi, I'm Tim Bradner with Alaska Legislative Digest, and welcome to Capital Views. Today we have Representative Chris Kurka, newly elected state rep from House District 7 in Wasilla. So welcome. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thanks for the opportunity, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Chris, maybe to start out, you can talk about your district a little bit, sort of what, where in the valley it is and what approximately what the boundaries are, the population. Tell us where it is.
Yeah, so I represent the Central Mat-Su district of basically the city of Wasilla, along with a little bit of surrounding area. It goes out west a little bit along Bogard, just south of Bogard and Selden Road, almost a trunk, and then goes down the southern boundary. There is Palmersville Highway till you get into the Wasilla proper, and it's basically the commerce hub of the district, if you will, of the area. The most dense, it's probably the most dense district in the Mat-Su.
Chris, it's, the whole Mat-Su region has been growing very fast in recent years. Your school populations are up, fastest growth in the state, fastest job growth in the state. And it creates unusual problems for your schools there, having to keep up with the amount of kids coming in. That's something obviously you're tracking very closely.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot of growing pains for the Mat-Su with the schools, with the infrastructure, with roads. A lot of roads that weren't meant to handle the amount of traffic they have on them now are kind of overused a bit. We saw that with the Canicoos Bay for a while, one of the most deadly roads in the state, which goes through my district, part of that road, and then goes into my neighbor District 8, as well as Bogard Road is getting to be the same way, very crowded. And that's because people want to move to the Mat-Su. It's a place where we offer freedom, we offer land, and one of the best places in Alaska or in the country to raise a family.
It seems to me that the whole center of gravity of South Central Alaska is kind of moving in your direction. The future population base of the region is probably going to be more in that direction than in Anchorage.
Yeah, certainly. Well, folks who are starting out or even retiring, they have the opportunity of their dollars going a lot farther with what kind of home they want or how much land they want with their house. And it's more affordable. At this time, it's a lot more affordable than Anchorage.
Chris, could you tell us about what sort of work you've done? Have you been in property development or in business services?
Yeah, so I grew up in Alaska all my life. I'm a third generation Alaskan, and done work from limited commercial fishing to tree service, cutting stuff down for the family tree business, and done a lot of political work, advocacy for some nonprofits in regards to justice for the preborn. And then after my wife and I got married and moved out of that, we started a couple businesses. We have a tax and accounting business, and we do kind of the tailored for small businesses tax planning. We help them plan their business structure to avoid as much tax as possible and keep more money in our state and more money for their team, so to speak, and help them run more efficient enterprise in that sense. And then for our second business, we just acquired my mother-in-law's business that we do kind of handcrafted Alaska-made soaps and hand lotions that are high-quality organic type stuff.
Really? So classic small business entrepreneurship startups.
Yeah, and it's a good fit for Wasilla. It's definitely a small business community, and one of my priorities for Alaska is, in terms of policy, is to make us one of the best places in the world and in the country to come and do business, to start a small business, to raise a family, and to have those values of problem solving and entrepreneurism.
Well, these are really tough times for small businesses now. How are things in the Wasilla area, and particularly for small businesses? It's been a tough time for people to deal with the pandemic and business closures, right. And it's how are people dealing with it?
People are very frustrated. My wife and I, we do monthly accounting for a lot of small businesses, and in the Mat-Su, we don't have the same, I don't get too political here, but the same boot tromp of what's happening in Anchorage. And there's been a lot of frustration because there's the COVID-19 crisis, but what's come from that is more than what COVID-19 has caused. What the government response to it has caused has been extremely detrimental to small businesses and families that depend on them. And then in the larger sense, the government response to rectify the situation has been not the best approach. For example, the extended or increased unemployment benefits. One of the side effects of that, unintended side effects, is that when small business owners are dedicated to providing those jobs for their employees and trying to have their employees go back to work when it's safe, some of the reaction has been sometimes from their employees, hey, I don't want to come back to work. Can I come in for tips? Can we keep me off the book so I can make money from you and collect unemployment at the same time? And I'm hearing that from a lot of business owners, and it's kind of a big problem. They're having a hard time hiring folks. At the same time, on the other hand, there's a lot of folks who are out of work. So it's kind of this really difficult situation.
That's really an odd situation to have people out of work at the same time and yet have jobs going unfilled.
Exactly.
Really. Are there any particular types of industries that are having a particularly hard time in attracting workers back, or does it run pretty much across the ball?
Yeah, probably a lot of the lower income jobs, like maybe janitorial, or specifically jobs where there might be a big boost with those unemployment benefits. So the restaurant industry, for example, right? So in Anchorage, they can't be open, but in places where they are open, they might have the problem, like I just mentioned, of people not wanting to come back to work. So it depends on the individual. Some people don't want to do that; they want to work. They want to provide for their families on their own. They're not there to subsist on the taxpayers.
I would imagine too the announcement of possibly another bad tourism year is going to be kind of bad news for people.
It's very hard.
You have a lot of folks out there that depend on the tourism industry, summer visitors. Although I think in some respects the valley tourism is probably more diversified. You can feed more of Anchorage, Alaska people visiting and spending money out there. You're not quite as dependent on cruise ships.
Right. That's certainly true. Probably more for the Met too. That some other parts of the state are going to suffer even more, unfortunately. I can tell you that for my wife and I, our Gladheart Acre soap manufacturing business, a lot of our customer base was tourists who came up, or they're folks that came and they would buy our products at shows and farmers markets and that kind of thing. And any small business where they built their model around selling to the public at bazaars and fairs and special events, they were really hammered and wiped out this year. And I know that we were in the red the whole year with that business. And we have other clients and other people we know, just relationships. Hey, they got annihilated. And I don't think we can really fathom the extent to the damage the lockdowns have done to our state and our nation. And we won't know for it's probably a good year or so. It's really tragic because I really believe a lot of the problems we have in the country and the state, the ingenuity, it comes from entrepreneurs, people who are going out to solve problems and create new solutions.
Well, Chris, we're out of time. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you joining us. And I look forward to talking. And I look forward to talking with you more. Hopefully in person in Juneau.
That was good.
Thank you very much, Chris.